we looked at different types of bond before, and we look at, I think I gave you a formula to calculate the value of a bond, right? Remember that? Hello? Speak, please. Guys, hello?
Yes, sir.
You do remember when I went to how to calculate the value of a bond? Remember that? The formula that I gave you, remember the formula?
Write it down somewhere.
Write it down somewhere. Show me not to.
I write it in my book.
Should remember that, you know. All right, so I went through that section with you. Now we're going to look at some additional evaluations. And then we are look at test bond before. We look at evaluations in more detail now. All right. So we're going to start from this section. Say, so at the time the coupon bond is issued.
Sir,
Yes.
you gonna send this?
Yeah, man, definitely. At the time coupon bond is issued, the coupon is generally set at a level that will cause the market price of the bond to equal its par value. But again, at the time a coupon bond is issued, the coupon is generally set at a level that will cause the market price of the bond to equal its par value. If a lower coupon were set, investors would not be willing to pay $1,000 for the bond. Go again. So go again. At the time a coupon bond is issued, the coupon is generally set at a level that will cause the market price of the bond to equal is what? Well, meaning equal $1,000. Right? If a lower coupon were set, investors would not be willing to pay $1,000 for the bond. While if a higher coupon were set, investors would clamor for the bond and bid its price up over $1,000. Investment bankers can judge quite precisely the coupon rate that will cause a bond to sell at its $1,000 par value. A bond that has just been issued is known as a what? New issue. All right. Once the bond has, all right, investment bankers classify a bond as a new issue for about 1 month after it has first been issued. New issues are usually actively traded and are called on-the-run bonds. Once the bond has been on the market for a while, it is classified as an outstanding bond. Again, once the bond has been on the market for a while, it is classified as an outstanding bond, also called a seasoned issue. Newly issued bonds generally sell very close to par, but the prices of seasoned bonds vary widely from par, except for floating rate bonds. Except for floating rate bonds, coupon payments are constant. So when economic conditions change, a bond with a $100 coupon that sold at par when it was issued will sell for more or less than $1,000 thereafter. All right. Now, in the example I was given before earlier, microwaves bonds with a 10% coupon rate were originally issued at par. If RD remained constant at 10%, what would the value of the bond be 1 year after it was issued? Now, the term to maturity is only 14 years. That is n equal 14. With a financial calculator, just override n equal 15 with n equal 14. Press the present value key and you find a value of $1,000 if we continued acting, setting n equal 13, n equal 12, and so forth. You would see that the value for the bond will remain at what? $1,000. As long as what? Going interest rate remains at what? Remains constant at the coupon rate of 10%. So as long as the coupon rate is equal to the going rate of interest on the market, then the bond will be sold at what? At par. All right. Now, suppose interest rates in the economy fell after microwave bonds were issued. And as a result, RD fell below the coupon rate. Remember, the coupon rate is what? 10%, right? So RD decreased from what? 10 to 5%. Now, both the coupon interest payments and the maturity value remain constant, which is 10% and what? 1,000. But now 5% values for PVF and PVFA would have been used in equation, in this equation here. The value of the bond in the value of the bond at the end of the first year would be $1,494.93. Now, based on the calculation, right? When you finish the calculator, just change RD equal I from 10 to 5 and then press present value to get the answer, right? Now, what is now? Thus, based on the situation that the RD fell below the coupon rate, if RD fall below coupon rate, the bond what? Would sell above par or at a what? Premium. So, in your question that you have given, if you realize that the RD or the rate of interest is less than the coupon rate, you know that the bond is still at a what? Premium. Good. Vice versa, if the interest is greater than the coupon rate, you know that the bond will be sold at a discount. Right? You will see that here further later on. Now, so in this case, it was sold at a premium, meaning above the $1,000 par value. Derivative of the bond value. Go ahead. Any question? Yes.
No, maybe I nothing, sir.
All right, so derivative of the bond value increase would be clear. What is the logic behind it? The fact that RD has fallen to 5% means that if you had $1,000 to invest, you could buy new bonds like micro drives. All right. Except that every day some 10 to 12 companies sell new bonds. Now, except that these new bonds would pay $50 of interest each year rather than $500. Naturally, you would prefer 100 to 550. So you would be willing to pay more than $1,000 for a micro drive bond to obtain higher coupons. All investors would react similarly, and as a result, the microwave bonds would be bid up in the price to $1,494.93, at which point they would provide the same rate of return to a potential investor as the new bonds, 5%. Assuming the interest rates remain constant at 5% for the next 14 years, what would happen to the value of microwave bond? It would fall gradually from $1,494 at present to $1,000 at maturity, when microdrive will redeem each bond for $1,000. This point can be illustrated by calculating the value of the bond 1 year later when it has 13 years remaining to maturity. The financial calculator merely input the values of N and so forth. Thus, the value of the bond will have fallen from 194.93 to 1,469.68, or by 25 if you were to calculate the value of the bond at other future dates. The price would continue to fall as the maturity date approached. Note that if you purchase the bond at a price of 1,494.93, then sold it 1 year later with RD still at 5%, you would have a capital loss of $25.25, or a total return of $100 minus $25.25, which is $74.25. Now, what is known? Your percentage rate of return would consist of an interest yield, also called current yield, plus a capital gains yield calculated as follows. So your interest or current yield would be what? Your coupon divided by the purchase price of the bond. And they said that instead of 6.69%. The capital gains yield now would be negative 25. Would be the so for the capital gains yield, it would be the capital loss over the price for the bond. That will give you 1.69%. Total rate of return or yield would be what? Automatically 5%. All right. So so the current yield is what? 6.69%. And you calculate that by putting what? The coupon rate over the as in the coupon that is over the amount that you purchase the bond for. All right. This kind of picture can take a little bit. So I'm going to read this part for you. For the right, you can write this still. Not necessarily, but anyways, had interest rates risen from 10 to 15% during the first year after issue, rather than falling from 10 to 5%, then you would enter N equal 14, I equal 15, PMT equal 100, the payment, and future value equal 1,000, and then press the PV key to find the value of the bond, which would be $713.78. In this case now, the bond would sell below its par value or at a what? Discount. The total expected future return on the bond would again consist of a current yield and a capital gains yield, but now the capital gains yield would be positive. But the total return would be 15%. To see this, calculate the price of the bond with 13 years left maturity, assuming that the interest rate is speaking at 15%. Now, what this is saying is that if it's a case, if it was a case where the interest rate was above the coupon rate, right? What this is saying to us is that the bond would have been sold at a what? Discount. Or you call it a discount bond. Right? Good. The total to see this, calculate the price of the bond with 13 years left maturity, assuming that the interest rates remain at 15%. With a calculator, even enter N equal 13, I equal 15, PMT equal 100, and FV equal 1,000, and press the PV to obtain the bond value of 720.84. Note that the capital gain for the year is the difference between the bond's value at year 2, which is 13 years remaining, and the bond's value at year 1 with 14 years remaining, are $720.84 minus 713.78, 7.06. The interest yield, well, know that the capital gain for the year is the difference between what? The bond's value at year 2, In this case, it would be with 13 years remaining, and the bond value at year one with 14 years remaining are 720.84 minus 713.78. So, so now the interest yield, capital gains yield, and total yield are calculated as follows. Interest recurring yield would be 100, which is the coupon amount. Divided by 720.78, and therefore divided by 0.1%. Current gains will be 7.06 divided by 720.78, and that would be 0.99%. Total rate of return or yield 107.06 divided by 713.78 equal to 15% overall. All right. Now, regardless of what future interest rates do, the bond's price will approach $1 as it nears the maturity date, barring bankruptcy, in which case the bond's value might fall dramatically. Whenever the going rate of interest RD is equal to the coupon rate, a fixed rate bond will sell at its par value. Again, whenever the going rate of interest RD is equal to the coupon rate, please know these following key points. You must remember these at all times. And so whenever the going rate of interest, which is RD in this case, market rate, right, is equal to the coupon rate. Good. A fixed rate bond will sell at its par value. Normally, the coupon rate is set equal to the going rate when a bond is issued, causing it to sell at par initially. Now, interest rates do change over time, but the coupon rate remains fixed after the bond has been issued. And if the going rate of interest rises above the coupon rate, a fixed rate bond's price will fall below its par value. All right. Again, interest rates don't change over time, but the coupon rate remains fixed after the bond has been issued. Whenever the going rate of interest rises above the coupon rate, a fixed rate bond's price will fall below its par value. Such a bond is called what? Discount bond, as you saw a while ago. All right. Whenever the going rate of interest falls below the coupon rate, a fixed rate bond's price will rise above its par value. Such a bond is called a premium bond. Does an interest rate and does an increase in interest rates will cause the price of outstanding bonds to fall? So an increase in interest rates will cause the prices of bonds, prices of outstanding bonds to fall. The decrease in interest rates will cause bond prices to what? Rise. So that's that for that. The market rate value of the bond will always approach its par value as its maturity date approaches, provided the firm does not go bankrupt. So these points are very important for they show that bondholders may suffer capital losses or make capital gains depending on whether interest rates rise or fall after the bond was purchased. So these points are very important for they show the bondholders may suffer capital losses or make capital gains, depending on whether interest rates rise or fall after the bond was purchased. All right, now we'll look at the section of bond yields now. So we look at discount par premium. We look at the yield to maturity now, all right, and the yield curve as well. So look at bond yields. Now, if you examine the bond market table of a Wall Street Journal or bond dealers price sheet, you will typically see information regarding each bond's maturity date, price, and coupon interest rate. You also see the bond's reported yield. Unlike the coupon interest rate, which is fixed, the bond's yield varies from day to day depending on current market conditions. Moreover, the yield can be calculated in 3 different ways, and 3 answers can be obtained. These different yields are distributed in the following sections. Sorry, I describe in the following sections. No, give me the divorce. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's continue. So I'm go again. So annual coupon interest rate, which is fixed. The bond's yield varies from day to day depending on the current market conditions. Moreover, the yield can be calculated in 3 different ways, and 3 answers can be obtained. These different yields are described in the following sections. First, look at yield to maturity. Now, suppose you're offered a 14-year 10% annual coupon. One to the par value. 1% per percent of 1 to the 494.93. What rate of interest would you earn on your investment if you bought the bond and held it to maturity? This rate is called the bond's yield to maturity. So technically, in a nutshell, the rate of interest that you would earn on your investment is also called what? Yield to maturity. And it is the interest rate generally discussed by investors when they talk about rates of return. The yield to maturity is generally the same as the what? Market rate of interest, that is RD. To find it, all you need to do is to what? Solve equation 6.1 for RD. So in this case now, you're going to solve for RD. All right. Now you could substitute values for RD until you find value that works and forces the sum of the PVs on the right side of the equal sign to equal 1 to 494.93. Alternatively, you could substitute values of RD into the third form of equation 6.1 and you find that value that works. Finding RD in the equal yield to maturity by trial and error would be a tedious, time-consuming process. But as you might guess, it is easy to with a financial calculator. Here is the setup. That is use the financial calculator. So what you could have done is use this formula. This formula again. You could have used the difficult to do, but so let's see. So using the Excel sheet now, you will simply enter n equal 14, p equal negative 19149.93, p equal 100, and f equal 1000, and then press the I key. The answer 5% will then appear. Now the yield to maturity is identical to the total rate of return discussed in the preceding section. The yield to maturity can also be viewed as a bond's promised rate of return, which is the return that investors will receive if all the promised payments are made. However, yield to maturity equals the expected. However, the yield to maturity equals the expected rate of return only if the probability of default is 0, and 2, the bond can't be called. All right. If there is some default risk of the bond may be called, then there is some probability that the promised payments to maturity will not be received, in which case the calculated yield to maturity will differ from the expected return. The yield to maturity for a bond that sells at par consists entirely of an interest yield, but if the bond sells at a price other than its par value, the yield to maturity will consist of the interest yield plus a positive or negative capital gains yield. All right. Please relog in so we can continue.